Welcome to the Jboy Show, hosted by Jake Crain, the fastest growing sports show in the nation.
I'm Coach Hugh Freeze.
This is Super Bowl champion Brandon Graham.
Hey, this is DJ Shockley, and you're watching.
And thanks for watching the Jboy Show.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for hopping in on another edition of the Jboy Show. Really excited about today's show. I know I always say that, but I really am. Got a great guest for you. But before we get to him real fast, you'll see what I mean in a second. Want to give a shout out to our partners at betonline.ag. Head over there. Online casinos always open. Major League Baseball, we got opening day. We know the March Madness deal, whether it's parlays, teasers, pleasers, however you get down. Props, even though I say to stay away from those. That's how Vegas really makes their money. Head over to betonline.ag today and tell them Jboy sent you. But speaking of fast, we have one of the fastest guys, I think, within this solar system. You go from here, Mars, Neptune, wherever you want to go. Anthony Schwartz, former Auburn wide receiver, entering the draft, just ran a 4.26 the other day. Anthony, what's up, man?
What's up? How's it doing?
Hey, going great, man. Excited to get you on. I know it's a big time in your life, man. A lot of excited stuff going on. And before we get to that, I just got to ask you, what is it like to be that fast? Like, again, I've never been remotely even close to that fast. Like, when you're running, does everything just like start going like on a plane when you take off and you look out of the window? Like, I'm amazed you can see left and right when you're running that fast.
Yeah, so you kind of don't really notice it until you're like, actually decide to look around, because usually I'm like locked into one spot or the other.
Yeah.
But really, I kind of just really zone in, and then you kind of just feel yourself running past people. So it's just kind of a cool feeling. Well,
it is amazing, man. And we know you're one of the fastest guys in the draft, and that's a huge part. But I know you're working on other parts of your game too, because, I mean, you've got the ability to catch the ball. You've got route running ability. How excited are you to be able to take this next step in your career, to have an opportunity to live out a dream? Because we know, I mean, you go run for Team USA and do all that stuff in the Olympics, so being able to play in the National Football League, I know it's been a dream of yours, man. I know you got to be pumped.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I've been wanting to play in the NFL since I learned about football when I was about. And so it's just something I've always looked forward to, and always that I've wanted to be a part of. And it's just a blessing to be in this position where I'm able to have the opportunity to go play at the next level.
Yeah. And how has the draft process been with you? I know obviously with COVID and stuff like that, it's been a little bit different, but you've had teams reaching out to you, a bunch talking to you. I know you're getting good feedback. Just how is it talking to these different coaches? Is it kind of like the recruiting process going into college, or is it a little bit different since obviously you're not committing to a school? They're going to pick you instead of you picking them. But are there some similarities between that process and the one you're seeing now as you get ready for the draft?
Yeah, there's some similarities. Like when you're talking to the scouts, it's pretty much like you're talking to the head coach. Like you kind of want to be able to study yourself. You want to say the right things. But I compare it more to like pretty much what it is, a job interview.
Yeah.
Whether you're going in, like the sessions is not in person, everything's more virtual. So you kind of get not as nervous, but I see it as that way. And it just, you got to say the right things, say yourself right. But I always make sure to keep it honest. So I don't make up lies or anything.
It's true.
But also it's been a great journey so far.
Definitely, and being authentic is a big deal because we know the mental capacity you got to have to play in that league as well. We know all the guys are big and fast and stuff like that, and what separates you is the mental preparation as well. But Anthony, when I watch you, and obviously you see the speed, but what do you think is the most underrated aspect of your game as a player? Because that's what we hear flash, this guy's really fast, but what is something that you think really, really helps you outside of just the speed?
I feel like my toughness and my route running, honestly, because I'm a guy that does everything that he can. I don't care if it's 3 people or 5 people or just one person. I'm still going to try and run through somebody.
Yeah.
And with my route run, I feel like I can run clean, smooth routes, especially with my speed, being able to kind of break down right away and being able to sail the go, which is one of my strong, of course, the go. Yeah. And be able to break down and run clean routes and get open. I feel that's another part that's underrated that I didn't really get to show in my college career.
Yeah, and that's a good question because it's a real question, and we all know it. If you watch football, we know that the route tree under the system you were in wasn't really intricate. How excited, and we've heard Seth Williams talk about it, Ricardo Lewis, guys like that. How excited are you to be able to really get in your bag from a route running standpoint? Because the biggest thing, and you said it, is we all know you can run the vertical and stuff like that, and they have to respect that. But when you're able to do more things, and you're able to be such a threat on the vertical, it opens up the underneath game, slants, hitches, option routes, stuff like that. How excited are you to be going in? Because we know the NFL systems are intricate, buddy, especially the route. How excited are you to be able to diversify your portfolio and kind of move on to the next chapter of route running?
I'm very excited because it opens up a whole nother part of my game. Like, just instead of just being a screen or vertical guy, I'm be going over the middle. A lot of short things where I'm able to catch and run and make people miss off the break, make people miss. It's something that's very interesting to me, especially the ways that the NFL gets people open too, because it's all about matchups there.
Yes.
So that's something that if I'm able to, I will be able to run every route tree. They can put me wherever they need me to, and I'll get open wherever I can.
That was my next question, man. I can tell you've done interviews before. That's a perfect segue into the next question. Being able to play the slot, being able to play outside. I know you can do both. And I know, being off the ball in the slot, you don't get jammed or anything, but I think you did a really good job of getting off press last year. I thought when guys try to press you, if they're crazy enough to do it, because if they do press you and they miss with one hand, you're Gonzo the clown. It's not even close. Just close your eyes and throw the ball. But, your versatility, being able to do that. I know I talked about how excited you are, but do you prefer one over the other? Do you like being in the slot more than outside? Or I know you can be off the ball at the Z or the X or whatever you want to call it, but do you prefer one over the other?
Not really. I kind of just line up wherever I needed to. There's some certain things I like doing in the slot better than I like doing outside.
Yeah.
But there's also certain things I like doing outside better than I like doing in the slot. And I feel like being able to run every route in both positions is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It just adds to my versatility, adds to what I can do as a player.
Yeah, and the defense has to account for way more. They can't just sit back and say, oh, well, Schwartz is going to run the vertical. Let's watch for clear out underneath it. Now you can do more stuff. And I want to talk about your career at Auburn, Anthony, because you had a ton of big plays and you played in a ton of big games. And there's always those few moments that stand out a little bit, though. What are a few, are one that you look back on in your college career and think, man, that was my favorite play or one of my favorite plays?
I would say I have three. So of course,
hit me with them, Anthony. Give them to me.
Touchdown against Alabama State. Just my first college football collegiate touchdown. It was just on a deep post. So of course I was going to score it, but I always remember that as my first touchdown. Then the A&M game, my sophomore year, the 50-yard reverse.
I remember that.
That's something that I envisioned from the whole week. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to score on this play. And I kind of envisioned that throughout the whole week. So when they called it, I knew I was going to score. And just being able to go into Kyle Field, where I think they're 120,000 strong.
It's might as well be 500,000.
Might as well be 500,000. Being able to just hear the crowd go mute, that's just something a big thing for me. And then this past year against LSU, just stealing off the game, especially when they were still talking down 42-3. So coach said, we're gonna hit the dagger right here, and I was ready. He called it. 91-yard touchdown against the defending champs. And it was just a amazing feeling.
Yeah. And I mean, you were flying on that play. And, it's funny. I think a lot of fans think that players like playing at home the most, and it's great to play at home and have your crowd behind you, stuff like that. But man, there's just something about going on the road in front of a lot of people and just all of a sudden that roar going down. Do you enjoy playing on the road a little bit more than home, or are you kind of just either way with it?
I'm really either way, but there's moments I love about both. Like, I love away games because I love hearing the crowd all before the game, all hype, and then they don't get that noise again.
Yeah.
I love home games because when it gets loud, it gets rocking. I love home games being when we're on defense because it's third down, we need to stop, and just hear the crowd just going crazy. Then on the field, when I hear them on third down trying to scream at us, trying to get us all, I'm like, this ain't nothing.
I love it. I love going inside the helmet, of you guys. And let's talk about that, because I want to take our fans on the field for a second, Anthony, because in those games, I know this past year, with the pandemic and stuff, we didn't have full capacity, but those games that are full capacity, I mean, the ground shakes, the holes in your helmet are whistling. What is something about the in-game experience that maybe a lot of fans don't realize? Talk about, the ability to communicate and just something that maybe our fans and audience don't know.
I would say you might underestimate how loud it is and how quiet it also is on the field at the same time. Because even when it's rocking, you can pretty much hear everyone. I can hear the quarterback. You can hear all the cadence. You can hear us talking to each other. And really, most of the times on the field, it kind of just feels a little quiet. Like, you don't really hear the crowd until it's a timeout. Like it's might be just like locking in. When you're locked in, you don't really hear it. But as soon as it's a timeout and it's on the chill, that's when you hear everything.
Yeah.
Like I could take you one back to when we played Georgia my freshman year. That and the Florida game are probably the two of the loudest away games I've been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one part we were backed up under the 5-yard line. That was one of the loudest experiences that year. And then playing against Florida, just because to me, Florida probably had the best crowd out of everyone. Auburn is a close second, but going like just hearing the roar of the crowd, that's just something that you might hear it off the field, but when you're on the field, you hear it from literally every spot in the stadium.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. I mean, when we played at Tennessee and you know, places like that, it's just the ability to communicate, but the human brain's so amazing when you're able to focus on stuff like you said, you can actually hear it. And speaking about chilling and quiet, head over to sundayscaries.com. Unbelievable CBD stuff, whether you want the drops, gummies, doesn't matter. If you have trouble sleeping, if you have anxiety, it really relaxes you. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not harmful. It's nothing crazy. It's just something that gives you the ability to relax, sleep through the night. I eat one of the gummies before I go to sleep every night. Really helps me sleep. And if you use the promotion code JBOY, JBOY, you save 25%. That's sundayscaries.com. Use that promo code JBOY and see if it helps you. And for some reason, if it doesn't, or you don't like it, you get your money back 100%. They're not playing around. They're looking for ways to help you. So go check them out at sundayscaries.com. We're here with Flash, AKA Anthony Schwartz. And Anthony, you know, there's huge decisions that you make in your life along this process. When you were a recruit coming out of high school, deciding to go to Auburn, that's a huge life decision. One that ended up being a good decision because you're sitting in this seat right now and I'm asking you about the NFL draft. But when you made the decision to declare and say, I'm going to the NFL, what was behind that? I know you know, talking to scouts, you can't do it before and stuff like that, but did you just know down in your gut, like when you decided to go to Auburn, because it's your decision, you're the one that's earned that right. You're the one that went on the field and made those plays and took that hits. When did you know I want to go to the NFL?
I would say I kind of came to my decision probably near the end of this past season that I was going to come out. Like, I've always wanted to be a 3-and-out guy, but I was never like I'm only going to be 3-and-out. And so I was really kind of going through the season, kind of before the season started. Yeah. I was deciding which one that I was like, you know what, I'm going to play the season, play it through. And then if I come to a point in the season where I want to make the decision, I will. And so it was probably around like Tennessee game where I decided like, I'm like pretty much decided I'm going to come out. And really after the season, I kind of was going a little back and forth, like, if I'm going to stay, if I'm going to go. And then with Coach Malzahn getting fired, it's not that it had a big effect on me, but it made it kind of easier to say, you know what? Yeah. Kind of made it easier, like, way for me to say that I wanted to go. But it was really, like, kind of down to me. I felt like I was ready. I felt like it was time. And I feel like there's not really a lot I can do staying another year that would up my stock.
Yeah, and then again, how pumped were you running that 4.26? Was that the time you wanted? Because I know you're fast as hell, Anthony. I know you could probably, you know, if you ran it 4 times, there's no telling what you run. But what is your fastest 40 time? I know what you run in the 100. Oh, it's ridiculous what you run the 100. Because you're a guy that's a long strider too, so you get faster as you go. Like, I want to see what your 60 is. I want to see how fast it takes you to get to first base. Because if you could lay a bunt down, dude, you could play in the major leagues.
Yeah, 4.26 is actually my fastest 40 that I've.
That's awesome. 40, that's awesome.
But I wanted to run under 4.25, but a 4.2 still 4.2, and then as you said, like even when I look back on the video, like I'm still gaining speed even at 40. Yeah. So really, that means I still have a lot more in the tank, and also have a lot more that I could have cleaned up too in that race.
Well, and two, it's not like you're a 5'6" guy that's, you know, just really fast. You have length, you have ability, you know, and I know your catch radius is going to continue to increase. And it seems to me you're like wine, man. You get better with time. The more you're doing it, the better you get, the cleaner you get. And my last question for you, and we're here with Anthony Schwartz, is talk to Gerard Powers, get him here all the time, guys that have gone through the draft process. And they say, you know, it's very interesting. And I know yours has been different, like I said, because of the pandemic. But have you gotten any crazy questions from guys? Have guys tried to kind of get you going a little bit, whether it be good or bad, the scouts you talk to, or has it been pretty even across the board?
It's been pretty even. Like the craziest question would be like, do you have any kids? Like I know there's people with kids, like it still doesn't hit me yet. Like there's people with kids out there going through this process. But me, I'm a 20 years old, have a girlfriend, but no kids. So that always surprises me. But I haven't really had like any really crazy questions. Like they'll be asking, like, do you drink? Do you like the party and stuff? Like that's probably the craziest it goes to.
Yeah, and you're a guy, Anthony, that's very focused, and you can tell, and I can tell that just talking with you right now. Can you talk about how you're going to take, we know the physical side of what you can do. We all understand that. But can you tell me the mental side and what Anthony Schwartz brings from a preparation standpoint? Because I know you're going to be one of the last guys in the film room, one of the first guys to show up. Can you talk about the stuff off the field that you bring? Because I know we have scouts that watch the show, but I mean, that's really you.
Yeah, so I'll watch film on pretty much anytime we have a game. Like I'll watch 3 to 4 games, similar to teams that run our type of offense. Then I'll probably watch each game like 3 times on. And I just like to study each individual DB because I like to see what they do, what their tendencies are. And I feel that's the main part that I bring is there's some of that I'm gonna be able to know what each DB does. Like if they're kind of a hard press corner, if they're a shadow corner, do they like to shoot, do they like to just see what you're doing? It's just stuff like that I like to get, because I like to get a head start on them. I don't want to go onto the field and be surprised by anything.
Yeah. And I know I keep saying it's the last question, but ones just keep coming up to me. How pumped are you, man, to go against guys like Jalen Ramsey, to go against guys in the NFL that you would watch on Sunday after y'all got done watching film, to be able to go against the best? Because you're going to get a chance to go against the best corners, best safeties, best DBs in the world. And I know guys like you that make it this far, you want that. You need that. Not just want it, you need that, because at the end of the day, to lay your head down on the pillow, you want to know how your game stacks up against the best. And going from watching it on Sunday to having a chance to go do your thing, whether that's right away, whether that's a little bit down the road, how pumped are you for that opportunity?
I'm very pumped for it, especially I feel like I'm a little bit more prepared than most coming out of the SEC. I go against probably some of the best DBs that are coming out. And so, but in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So that means going against the Jalen Ramseys, the Stephon Gilmores, the Shermans, all those type of players that are both all big, fast, and physical. You have to go against them. You have to beat them in order to be called the best.
Definitely. And what would you tell Anthony, a kid coming out of high school right now, that's made his decision, he's going to the SEC? What advice would you give a high school kid about playing in that league?
I would say take care of your body, because there's a whole bunch of grown men in there. You're going against pretty much NFL defenses, and they're all going to be big and fast. So as long as you take care of your body, you'll be good.
That's true. That's so true. And I think that's an underrated part of the game. You don't have to be hurt to go to the training room. And I think a lot of kids need to understand that. But Anthony, it's an honor to have you on, man. I'm rooting for you. Can't wait to see what your future holds. I'm betting on you. I know you're going to do well. And I know you're excited. Man, whoever decides to draft you and takes a chance on you, man, I know they're going to be getting a good one. And I would love to get you back on here once you're a couple years in and doing your thing in the NFL. But it really has been an honor to have you on in such an important time in your life, my friend.
Thank you, for sure. And thank you for having me on. And I appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate this show. You're doing a good job with it.
Hey, Anthony, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you guys. Head over to ebay.com/sneakers today. Check out those shoes. Old, new. You can ask Anthony Schwartz. Shoes matter. Even when you're running a 4.26, you got to have the best kicks. I didn't remember that to rhyme, but I guess it did. I'm a poet. Didn't even know it. So check us out, thejboyshow.com. Get some gear. Hey, Anthony, you want a gray hoodie or a black hoodie?
I'll take a black one.
Black hoodie, sweet. I got it right here so you can see the logo, man. We got some big stuff popping over here, and you can get that at thejboyshow.com along with some pretty sweet hats. The trucker hats are the way to go. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and Twitter at The Jboy Show. It's been another edition of The Jboy Show with future NFL wide receiver Anthony Schwartz. And just like him on a vertical route, we're going, gone.
The Jboy Show is produced by David Cohn, Technical Director Dave Hammock, Creative Director David Culbertson, Audio Engineer Feyzan Shareef, Production Assistants Blaine Crain and Kyle Orr, Executive Producers Jake Crain, Vince Thompson, Steve Chamberlain, and David Cohn. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website, thejboyshow.com, for updates regarding our newest apparel and merch designs. Win the water cooler with The Jboy Show.